net zero tracker has shown that 90% of the global economy has somehow made some commitments to net zero. But not all net zero commitments are made equal. Definitions, standards vary completely, so it's very hard to assess that. And there was a need to kind of standardize what means to be net zero. That's why the SBTi created its net zero standard, to clarify and identify what a standard looks like for a definition of net zero, so companies and businesses can be confident that their targets and their plans are aligned with what science tells us needs to happen. We launched the SBTi Net Zero Standard at the last COP, and now 1,300 companies have already committed to that, and that number continues to grow and is not stopping there. You can't address a problem unless you know how big the problem is, and that is valid for climate change as well. Unless your company can assess the size of your emissions, including Scope 3, you cannot really start the journey. But the first step is measuring. The next step then is setting the ambition, and that's why SBTi created the Net Zero Standard, so we can know what the plan, what success looks like. But the journey doesn't stop there either. Once you set the ambition, you need to act on it, and we need initiatives such as VCI to kind of test out those cases. But that again is not the end of the problem. Once that is done, you need credible reporting to demonstrate that that ambition and that progress has been achieved. Tackling Scope 3 emissions is daunting at first, but there are ways in which you can start. For example, if emissions are upstream, you can involve your suppliers and start to get them in the journey while you test out other cases on how to measure that. For example, through pilots and exercises which VCI is trying. There's also the downstream emissions, which usually are related to the efficiency of the products that are being sold, which are part of the business case. So although Scope 3 is daunting, there are many ways to start that journey.